Hey guys, this is Miss Kayla from the Reynolds Boys and Girls Club, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a healthy meal. Everybody being under quarantine, it's easy to, throw something in the microwave or order pizza or get, McDonald's delivered from Uber Eats, but it's important during these times to stay healthy and happy and positive, and a big part of that is what we eat. So I'm going to show you how to make a chicken, zucchini, squash, and rice bowl. It's pretty simple, pretty fast to make, so hopefully you enjoy it. So to start, I'm going to show you all of the ingredients that you'll need for this recipe. First, you'll need chicken. I got these chicken breast strips. Usually I get regular chicken breasts and cut it up, but they did not have any at the store today, so this will work perfectly fine. And I'm cooking for 2 people, myself and someone else. So this is about a pound, like 1.3 pounds of meat, which is perfect. And then I got 1 white onion. I'll probably use about half of this. 1 yellow squash, and I got 2 of these green zucchinis. Usually if I can find bigger ones, I only buy 1 of them, but these ones are pretty small, so 2 should work perfectly fine. As for our seasoning, you can season this however you'd like. Lemon pepper, Mediterranean, garlic and herb. I personally really like to use these seasoning packets. They're made by McCormick. They cost less than $1 at most grocery stores. This one is tomato, garlic, and basil. They come in all sorts of flavor, like zesty herb, garlic, herb, and wine, mojito lime, like all of the flavors that you could imagine, they have it. So however you want to season this, you definitely can. Also, for our base, you're gonna need white rice or brown rice, or you could also use quinoa, but I'm gonna use white rice. I'm gonna use the instant rice. It's just easy. Only takes a couple minutes to make. It's great. And you will also need some olive oil. So that is it for our ingredients. Now that I've shown you the ingredients that you'll need, I'm going to show you all the cooking supplies that you'll need. So a strainer, pretty basic. You're going to need 2 cutting boards, or 1 cutting board that you're going to have to wash. I usually use 2, 1 for my meat, 1 for my veggies. You'll also need a pot for your rice, a measuring cup for your rice, a spoon just to cook your chicken, as well as a pan for your chicken. And obviously, since we're gonna have to do some cutting, you will need 2 knives. Just small knives. You don't have to get out any big knives or anything, and definitely have your parents help if you don't feel comfortable using the knives. So as for ingredients and cooking supplies, that is what you're going to need. So I'm going to get started. Now, it's really important to remember that before you start with any of your ingredients, you should wash your hands, and you should also rinse off any of the produce you have. So I did that. I washed my hands with soap and water, and then I gently rinsed all of my squash and zucchini under running water. So now I'm going to show you how we are going to slice these vegetables up. So you're just going to start down here at the end, and cut the end piece off. I usually don't use this. You can if you'd like, but I don't. And then you're just going to thinly slice. So, you know, you want them not too thick, not too thin, a pretty good width. And you're just gonna cut up the rest of your squash like this. Now that your squash is cut up, you're going to cut up your zucchini, doing the same exact thing. So you're gonna cut off your end, and then just thinly slice all the way down. You wanna make sure you're holding far enough away from the knife where you can have control, but you're not gonna hurt yourself, obviously. So you're just gonna cut both of your zucchini up just like this. Again, pretty medium-sized slices. Don't want them too thick or else they'll take too long to cook. Don't want them too thin, so you're gonna cut up both your zucchini just like this. Alright, now you're gonna cut up your onion. Like I said, I usually use about half an onion. You don't have to use any onion. You can use more onion if you want, just depends what you like. First thing you wanna do, I already did it, you're gonna wanna take this skin off the onion. So once you've done that, you can start cutting it up. I usually cut the ends off first. And then I like to cut it this way. If you like your onions smaller, you can dice them up and cut them smaller, but this is how I prefer them. So and yeah, it's that quick and easy to cut up your onion. Okay, now we're going to move on to our chicken. I got a new cutting board, a new knife. I also rinsed my hands again after cutting up the onions. So now we can start with our chicken. So if you would like, you can definitely, if you get the chicken tenders or chicken strips, you can leave them just like this and cook them like this. I just find it easier to eat when it's cut up in smaller pieces. So that is what I'm going to do today. So I try to keep them about the same size so that they cook evenly. And I just go chop them up, and as I'm cutting them, I'm placing the chicken I cut up in a bowl. Then you have stuff like this that you can cut off the fat. I don't like getting that while I'm eating, so I usually just cut it off. And I'm cutting these chicken strips into 3 parts. So that's what I'm going to do with the rest of this package. Just trim the fat and then cut into 3 parts. 3 equal parts, as equal as you can get them, just so they cook evenly. Okay, so now that we have all of our ingredients prepped, we are ready to start cooking. So, first thing we're gonna start is the chicken. We're gonna turn our stove on to medium heat. And then we are going to use some olive oil. I just put enough in to cover the middle of the pan. And then I move it so that it gets all over the pan, all over the bottom of the pan. So after you got your oil in there and it's warming up a bit, you can take your chicken and you can go ahead and put it in. Also, always remember that when you're handling meat, especially raw meat, that you always need to wash your hands. So I wash my hands immediately after I finish cutting up the chicken. Then you can take, this is my marinade, the one that I showed you earlier. I mixed it up. And then I'm just gonna pour a little bit of it on the chicken while it cooks. So now you're going to want to let this cook for 5 to 7 minutes until it's all the way cooked. So I'm sure you can hear my chicken cooking in the background. Just a few tips as you're cooking your chicken. You want to make sure that it's in an even layer on the bottom of the pan so that it all cooks evenly and at the same time. And then you just want to kind of every so often stir it, flip it so all the sides get cooked evenly. If the heat gets too hot, you can turn it down to medium-low, but I wouldn't go any lower than that in order to cook the chicken all the way through. So, once your chicken is finished cooking, you're going to want to put your strainer inside your sink, and then you're going to want to take your pan and dump the chicken and all of the excess liquid in the pan into the strainer so that we can get rid of that excess liquid. So, once we have an empty pan again, our chicken is resting and draining, we are going to want to add our vegetables. So, our onions and our squash and zucchini. So we are also going to turn this on medium heat, and we can also take a little bit of that marinade we used earlier on the chicken and put it on our veggies. Don't have to put a lot, and if you'd rather just do salt and pepper, that's okay, but I like to put the marinade on the veggies too. And we are going to cook these until the squash and the zucchini start to get soft. So probably about 7 minutes. Just stirring them pretty frequently, making sure that they're all evenly coated with the marinade and all cooking evenly. So, since we've started our veggies, we can now start on our instant rice. According to the instructions, for 2 servings of rice, we need 1 cup of water and 1 cup of rice. So, that's what I'm gonna get right now. Okay, so we are going to take our pot, our cup of water, just pour it in the pot. Then we are going to put it on the stove and put this at high because we want it to boil. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so now that our water is boiling, we can go ahead and dump our cup of rice in. You might want to get a different measuring cup because it'll stick if you don't. We're just going to make sure all the rice is wet, and then we are going to turn it off and put the lid on it. And then we're going to let it sit just like that for 5 minutes. We don't want to take that lid off any sooner than 5 minutes. So now that we have our rice in our pot and our veggies are almost done, we are going to add the chicken back for the last few minutes just so it doesn't get cold. And then we can take a lid and put it right on top for the last 5 minutes that this is cooking. Alright, So our rice has finished cooking and I've put it in a bowl. And so now we are just going to finish it off and put some of our chicken and squash and zucchini right on top. And you can eat it that way, but I also like to put the last bit of our marinade that we have right on top. And that's it.